Hey guys, it's Ash, and today we're going to talk about the most important thing you're ever going to do as a creative, and that is defining what type of artist you want to be and deciding how you're going to give back to the world using your gifts. So linked below in the description is going to be the blog post which corresponds to this video. The questions you find there are going to help you build a relationship between your art or creative discipline and how it's going to play a role in your life, how it's going to play a role in the life of others, and what you really want to get out of your art and why you do it in the first place. Alright, so my first tip is to make sure that you are aware that you're not a painter or a piano player or a dancer or a writer. Even though you may define yourself as one or more of these things, that's not really what you are. Your real talent is your creativity. It just so happens that you chose a particular channel to express your creativity through. Now, even if you didn't have music or you didn't have painting, your mind would still work in a creative way. And that's your greatest gift, and you really have to realize what you have and what your potential is. When you have the gift of creativity, what it is you're making associations between things that people normally wouldn't relate to one another. So for example, you could look at a walnut and be like, oh, it looks like a brain, or see a tree and the way that the branches kind of split up, you could notice that as they get smaller and smaller, they sort of look like the way that, veins spread out. So it's important to realize you take in information and you produce a unique way of rearranging that information. Even if you don't go into a creative field, you can stand out amongst your peers by using your creativity to do the typical tasks and routines of that job in a way that is fresh and new. And that's something that every industry needs and always will need. So it's really important to realize that your creativity is valuable, even if you're not expressing it in the way that you thought you would be. Maybe you're not a professional dancer, maybe you're not a professional painter, but you can offer a very unique way to do the job that you've chosen instead, and you can bring a lot to that industry. The next tip is to define your lifestyle and then build backwards. So when you're figuring out how you want to fit your art into your life, whether you want to be a full-time artist, a part-time artist, or just a hobbyist, what you have to realize is there's a reality that comes with each choice. So if you decide to be a professional painter, what that's going to require out of you is going to look a lot different than if you just paint for fun when you have time off from work and social obligations. So you can choose whatever you want. There is no right or wrong, but you have to be realistic. If you want a certain type of lifestyle, it's very possible that the reality of being a professional painter is not going to match what that lifestyle looks like. So you have to figure out what you want. What type of income do you want? How do you want to be spending most of your time? You have to decide for you what you realistically can sustain. You should never set yourself up for failure. So if you really aren't going to put in the work to be a full-time artist, don't put that burden on yourself. Just because you're great at it doesn't mean you'll be great at it professionally. Sometimes your passion is not what you should do for a career. And this is something you have to find out for yourself, or you might not even want to find out. You might just know, like, I don't want to do this as a career, this is just a release. So experiment. If you're not sure, just try it, because you really don't know what something's going to look like until you do it. Sometimes, like, living your passion and your dream seems like this fairy tale that anybody would want, but then sometimes the reality is it sucks a lot, and it's not fun, and it's really awful. The idea of something is often better than actually attaining it. Do something professionally, you need the discipline, and you need to be willing to find ways to monetize it. And if you do find it's not for you, don't feel ashamed. You're not like cheating on your art, you just might need to leave it as a hobby.